Welcome to the Meowtavern. I'm Ash, your host, and today I'd like to share my recent obsession with Toilet Bound Hanako Kun with you all. So, before we dive into my ramblings and summaries, of course, and maybe some theories, I'd like to encourage you to leave comments with each section as we go and share your theories for that section. So, if we're on season one, based off the information that I share with you and what you know of season one, theorize, or if you can recall what you first thought back when you first watched season one or read the first few chapters that cover season one, what did you think was going to happen in the series? What were the questions you had? And make sure you don't use information from season two while theorizing for season one. When we get to season two, use what you know about season one and season two to come up with theories. And then when we finally go to the manga section, you can use everything that you can think of and leave your theories. You can leave timestamps if you want to join me, just to make it more interactive and fun. I am really curious what other people think of Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. There's so many theories flying around. So many people have come up with so many different ideas of what's going on. Sorry, I got distracted. My cat started playing. But there's a lot of theories going on around about why Hanako killed Tsukasa. And so, really, share your thoughts. With that being said, let the spooking begin. Season 1, Episodes 1 and 2, Spook 1, 2, 3. Hanako of the Toilet. So, have you heard this rumor? At Kamamo Academy, rumors float around the school's 7 mysteries. The 7th one is Hanako-san. Her spirit can be found in the 3rd stall of the girls' bathroom in the old school building. It is said that Hanako-san grants any wish when summoned. And so with that, our bright-eyed protagonist, Nene Yashiro, an occult-loving first-year high school girl, makes her way to this haunted bathroom. She's recently been rejected by her crush, who not only breaks her heart, but also insults her legs, calling them radish-shaped. What a freaking jerk. It's oddly specific and would haunt my dreams. Nene's moved on from that loser onto a much more charming fella. She wants a slice of romance, hoping to get her wish fulfilled by Hanako-san. According to the rumor, Hanako will grant your wish in exchange for something precious to you. Once in the bathroom, she knocks 3 times at the last bathroom stall, calling out, "Hanako-san, Hanako-san, are you there?" To her surprise, she meets a boy, a mischievous-looking one at that. What was Nene's wish? She wants the person she likes to return her affection. Who? Minamoto Teru, a second year. Hanako hands a cheap How to Love 101 book to her that she swiftly turns down. I want to comment on how beautiful Toilet Bound Hanako's artwork is. You might have noticed how everything is just so bright and bold. Nene's design is adorable. From the color scheme of her hair to the dress she wears, she's so adorable. And pleasant to look at. The same could be said about every other character. The design is so pretty. The colors are so beautiful. Complimentary. Love it. The intro song animation hints at so many characters and mysterious places placed throughout the anime. Tiny things like that really do pique my interest and make me a little bit more excited about checking out an anime. So I really appreciated all the effort that goes into this particular anime. Nene is an adorable girl. She picked up on things such as sewing, cooking, and gardening in hopes to appear more feminine. Hearing her say all this kind of just struck something in me. Young love is something else, I tell you. So many girls are willing to change things about themselves, pick up on new hobbies and skills just so they can win over the person they like. There's something so crazy and sad about it in regards to Nene specifically because she doesn't really consider herself feminine as is and sought out to become the image of what her previous crushes desired. Of course, it blew her heart into bits when he rejected her, but I think that was for the best. Even she admits that maybe it was for the best because he didn't even know the crush that rejected her. He didn't even know who she was. Her obsession with Minamoto Teru just seems like something she created to get over her heartache. A little distraction, which Hanako doesn't hesitate to call out, like she didn't even know his name was Teru. But anyway, Hanako Kun is upbeat, mischievous, knife wielding, donut loving apparition that haunts the school and is the leader of the seven wonders of the school. Whenever reading his dialogue in the manga, I always envisioned his playful tone in the anime. It adds to his mysterious nature. Whenever his tone switches to a serious one, you know that playtime is over. At first, he does his best to help Nene become closer to Teru Minamoto. With each attempt, failure is met. Hanako sucks as a love guru. Eventually, in the first episode, Nene gets her hands on mermaid scales and puts one in her mouth, swallowing it before Hanako even has a chance to explain to her what it does, cursing Nene. She's a cute little fish. Look at that. The mermaid does come for Nene since she's considered her new servant, but Hanako intervenes. From here on, after Hanako helps her out, she becomes Hanako's assistant and is reverted back into a human. They are intertwined, sharing a bond between the spirit world and the human world. Just because she became human doesn't really mean that she's been released from her curse. She's still a fishy. If she becomes wet, her skin starts turning into scales, and if she completely becomes wet, she turns into a fish, so she's not really out of the danger zone yet. Hanako teases her, flirts with her, drops one-liners that would put pickup artists to shame. Without Hanako Kun, things just wouldn't be the same. Well, the show is about him, right? But I'm talking about the chemistry between him and Nene. Hanako takes on the role of maintaining balance between the human and the apparition world. If an apparition, supernatural creature, is murderous, he has to eliminate it. And with Nene here now, he hopes that she can save these apparitions by changing their stories, by changing their rumors that are turning innocent, harmless apparitions like the moke into malicious ones. Next character introduction that's important is of Ko, the young exorcist and the younger brother of Teru Minamoto. The Minamoto family has been exorcising apparitions and yokai for years. Ko has been tasked with exorcising Hanako as soon as possible by his brother Teru. After friendly interactions with this playful toilet ghost, Ko is kind of conflicted. The first time Ko attempts to exorcise Hanako-kun, Nene stops him. He might have a faint crush on Nene early on in this series, but as the story progresses, he develops a stronger relationship and friendship with her. Hanako's actions during the Misaki Stairs arc leave Ko puzzled. Why would a malevolent apparition help find Aoi Akane? Aoi Akane, who is introduced in episode 2, is a sweet, upbeat, supportive friend of Nene. She informs her of rumors that she hears of spirits, fairies, and other creatures circulating the school since she knows that Nene loves horror stories. Her design is cute and looks very similar to Nene. Ko finds himself skipping school to try and prove to his brother that Hanako isn't all that bad. Ko is loud, energetic, and social anxiety fears him because he isn't afraid of bursting into a monologue in front of everyone. His relationship with Hanako feels to me like that of a mentor and an apprentice at first. Hanako is always encouraging Ko, letting him know that he'll be a great exorcist someday. It's so silly when Hanako calls Ko shonen when he himself, despite being an old apparition, looks like a kid too. Well, that's probably because he died as a kid, but still. Ko also asks Nene to help him make donuts for Hanako. It's just adorable. Ko has an interesting relationship with another wonder of the school, Mitsuba. Have you heard this rumor? There's a spirit of a junior high school student wandering the halls while you're changing your shoes at the school's entrance. It'll reach out with its hand and ask you, "Have you forgotten me?" Mitsuba is a school wonder with a love for photography, a shy, introverted figure who feels unloved and forgotten by those he once attended school with. Mitsuba actually gets captured by Ko and presented to Hanako. Ko drags Mitsuba around the school, doing his best to try and fulfill his regrets so that Mitsuba's spirit can go to rest. But Mitsuba's got a mouth on him, alright. He doesn't hesitate to insult Ko's fashion and even calls him a pervert. What are Mitsuba's regrets? Well, he wishes he could have gotten a chance to take a particular photo. The dynamic between the two is of love and hate. They're constantly bantering. Mitsuba is a complex character. When he was alive, he was super introverted. He was in the same class as Ko for a while before switching to another class. Ko hadn't taken notice at all. Mitsuba felt invisible, and even in death, this emotion persists. It controlled a lot of his impulsive actions at the beginning of the series. His desire to be remembered. He felt as if he was too plain when he was alive. Couldn't even make friends that would remember him after his death. Ko attempts to forge a friendship with him in episode 8, apologizing for not taking notice of him when he was alive. The two have a lot of fun in the afternoon before Tsukasa shows up with a big smile on his face as he rips through Mitsuba's chest before slamming Ko against the wooden pillar. Tsukasa, through Sakura, had spread a rumor about Mitsuba. This is Tsukasa's way of fulfilling Mitsuba's desire to be known and be remembered by all, but more importantly, to make friends and be with his friends. This rumor transforms Mitsuba into an unrecognizable creature. Pretty twisted if you ask me. Hanako arrives on scene and slashes Mitsuba. Tsukasa plays mind games and teases Hanako before leaving the scene. The twins also have a strange dynamic if you ask me, but a bit more on that later. Ko asks if he's able to switch him back to his previous apparition form, but it doesn't seem like something that's within Hanako's range. He stabs the unconscious Mitsuba. Only a camera is left behind. Ko is devastated and warns Hanako to leave the camera alone. After developing the film, while flipping through the pictures, he finds a photo of himself. Remembering what Mitsuba said to him as he looks through the photos, Ko breaks into tears. Mitsuba actually makes a return in the episode of Hell of Mirrors, after Nene gets dragged by an apparition into a mirror. He insults her as he insults everyone per usual, but offers to help Nene. They wander around, trying to figure a way to get out of there. The mirrors in this boundary target your insecurities. It's kind of like that mirror in Harry Potter, except it doesn't show you what you desire, but what you're most insecure and afraid of. Nene's are her legs. The hell of mirrors is a boundary that belongs to the third wonder of the school. Living people who wander into the boundary with a good heart and brave soul go unscathed, but those with a fear and ugliness in their hearts suffer. The mirror reflects that issues and attacks you. Now, this part kind of had me a bit conflicted because the quote unquote ugliness in your heart, like that part, I wasn't 100% sure what they meant by that, but maybe it just means insecurities, which is conflicting because everyone has insecurities, so wouldn't everyone have a hard time breaking free? Everyone has a nasty side to them, even if it's a small fragment, but I guess if you have a brave soul, you could break through. For Mitsuba, the mirrors go blank. Not a single thing shows. He thinks it's because he is dead. He used to be afraid of being forgotten, having no one to notice him. The mirror morphs into its original form, hoping to exchange places with Nene, hoping to be alive again. Mitsuba yells out for help, and Tsukasa shows up, granting his request, breaking the mirror and slamming the third wonder dead. I mean, it was already dead, but now it's like super double mega dead. Why does Tsukasa seem to enjoy torturing Mitsuba? Was he like this when Amane and him were alive, torturing his twin? Or is there no twin? Sorry, I'm getting carried away. Tsukasa makes Mitsuba eat the third wonder's heart and converts him into a school wonder later. Let's switch gears and find out a bit more about Hanako. Who is Hanako? Hanako uses a kitchen knife as a weapon and transforms into a more powerful apparition with his Hakujodai, the green-eyed ghost orb and the red-eyed ghost orb, right? It's said that he killed somebody while he was alive. There's a lot of mystery revolving around him. Some truths to this rumor, but he refuses to share more. Nene sets out to investigate and learn about the past of Hanako and runs into Sakura Nanamine, the green-haired girl. She asks Nene if hers is willful, selfish, and needy. Hers? I can't believe I never picked up on this the first time I watched this, but the show was hinting at Tsukasa for a while. To aid Nene's curiosity, Sakura redirects her to the fifth wonder of the school, the 4 o'clock library. Accessible only at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the library turns into the boundary of the 4 p.m. book stacks. Later, in classroom, while Nene and Aoi are talking, Aoi gives details about the book stacks to Nene, like how the library contains everyone's life events, past and future. White books are of the living people, black books are of the dead, or soon to be deceased, and red books must not be read under any circumstances. Another question added, why does Aoi know so much about the rumors and the school wonders? Whenever Nene has a question, she runs over to Aoi for intel, and I'm just curious where Aoi gets her intel from. At the library, while flipping through her own life book, Nene is about to discover Hanako's real name when her book starts turning red. Blood drips from it, and from the corner of her left shoulder, an apparition lurks. Before Ko intervenes, but his staff is sealed, so it's Hanako to the rescue. We also meet the fifth wonder of the library, Tsuchimogori sensei. Now, this information confused me so much. How can he be in a solid state? Nene had bumped into him early and dropped items, but then I remembered, oh, it's because Nene is connected to Hanako. It makes sense that she dropped her papers upon contact, so there goes my "he can't be physically touched" out of the window. I don't know if other students can see Tsuchimogori sensei, but anyway, Tsuchimogori sensei is a fun character. He lives by the whole fuck them kids motto while working at a school, but then again, he is a school wonder and trapped within the bounds of the school, so you can't blame him. He's a spider-like apparition who enjoys learning others' secrets and embarrassing moments. He also might have been Hanako's teacher when he was alive, when they both were alive. There's just so much mystery behind everyone's lives. He's willing to let Hanako destroy his Yorishiro, but only if Nene goes in, referring to her as a priestess. A moon rock was given to the sensei by one of his students, someone you and I might recognize. Once Nene peels off the seal, we get an opportunity to learn about the sensei and Hanako from the past. While they were alive, years ago, it might have been the year 1969, but I could be wrong. Hanako's getting bullied at school, bruises all over. His sensei is tending to his wounds. We learn that Hanako's real name is Yugi Amane, a young boy who loves the moon, loves astronomy. This melancholic scene between the two left me wondering, how bad was the bullying? Did Hanako really feel suicidal? Did he take the life of the one who caused him pain during his school days? It's very bleak. And just like that, Nene snaps out of that memory. We gain another opportunity of learning about Hanako in season 1 in episode 7, the donut episode. Tsukasa had been tracking Nene for a while, hiding as a paper crane around her. He reveals himself dramatically on their donut picnic before vanishing after Nene pours a hot drink over him, revealing one answer to the question. Who did Hanako, or rather Yuki Amane, kill? He killed his twin brother, Tsukasa. But a new question arises. Why? That's the new mystery. The Broadcasting Club. Most rumors that circulate the school are due to the Broadcasting Club, with 3 hosts, Sakura, Natsuhiko, and Tsukasa, who deliver strange stories and lore. Not every arc encounters a rumor or a creature from these rumors, but whenever it does, you can bet that the Broadcasting Club has something to do with it. Apparitions have to act according to the stories that float around them, about them. If the stories change the way that it did with the Moke in episode 2, they change too, to fit the new narrative. You vanish if you can't match your new lore. Nene ends up following a cute upperclassman, Natsuhiko, without a question. I don't really think he's cute, but Nene kind of, she a little boy crazy here and there. She has no idea what he wants, but she couldn't resist the idea of him possibly wanting a date with her. This girl, I swear. Anyway, as they walk down the hallway, Nene finally asks him why he'd call her out of class. Natsuhiko introduces himself very dramatically and exchanges contact information with her, letting her know that someone wants to meet her and how she's special to them. At first, I thought it was Tsukasa. He's the only weirdo I could think of, but it's actually Sakura. Things take a sudden turn when Natsuhiko is seen holding a fishbowl. Suddenly, Tsukasa appears behind Nene and dumps a bucket of water on her head, turning her into a fish. Tsukasa scares her by pretending to eat her, causing Nene to faint. He's so mischievous like Hanako. Like, sometimes I forget that he's supposed to be somewhat of an antagonist, but yeah, I really enjoy his interactions with Nene throughout the entire series. But anyway, Nene wakes up in a mysterious room, sitting at a table filled with sweets and tea. She isn't in her school uniform. She's adorable and dressed up for a tea party. She's surprised to see Sakura and recognizes her, yelling, "Hanako's girlfriend!" causing a frenzy from Tsukasa and Natsuhiko, both losing their mind over the false information that Nene had spouted. We learn that Sakura has indeed formed a bond with Tsukasa to get her wish. I thought only the dead would seek out Tsukasa and only the living would seek out Hanako, so is Sakura already dead? Sakura and Nene end up bonding for a bit, ranting about each of their experiences with Hanako and Tsukasa. Tsukasa flirts a bit with Nene before being dragged away. Time flies before Nene stops to ask herself, why is she even in this place? And what do they actually want from her? Nene's bond with Hanako is so much more sweeter, she realizes very quickly. Sakura doesn't have it easy. She finds herself feeling uneasy, but Tsukasa stares at her with his dark void eyes. The chair that Nene was sitting down on entraps her in place. The room switches. Green liquid starts swallowing Nene, and Natsuhiko, because Sakura loves to torture him. They find themselves in a space with many doors. Luckily, the Moke bring a small radio that Hanako uses to help Nene, not before getting an apology from her for getting tricked by a hot guy and apparitions. The doors around them lead to the future and the past. They have to be careful when opening certain doors to find their way back home. But that doesn't happen. Nene finds herself in 1969, meeting a familiar boy. His books scattered, bandages on his face, bruises on his body, tears running down his face as he questions the young girl before him who she is. But quickly, he bolts past her, dropping his house keys. Nene doesn't get a chance to return them since Hakujoodai finds her and transports her back to Hanako Kun. After she returns, she acknowledges how Hanako Kun always protects her, and she wants to figure out a way to return that favor. Questions brewing in my mind and theories. Welcome, you've made it to the theories section. So let the discussion begin. First of all, the seven wonders. Who falls under this category? We know that Hanako is one and he is the seventh wonder. So there's 1 to 7, right? Hanako is also the leader of the 7, it seems like. So, who else is a school wonder? We have Mitsuba. And Mitsuba is now one after he eats the heart of the third wonder because Tsukasa makes him eat it. What is Tsukasa's angle? Why did he need to turn Mitsuba into a wonder, a school wonder? Is there something that Mitsuba is supposed to do, manifest, fight for him, be like a soldier? I'm very curious as to what it could be the possible answer. Then there's the element of Tsukasa granting wishes for the dead. So does he get stronger after he grants Mitsuba's wishes, or is that the reason why he turned him into a school wonder? Because maybe through the school wonder he can become a human? No. There's a lot more going on, but that's where we're at right now. Oh yeah, aside from Mitsuba and Hanako Kun, there is Misaki Stairs, the Misaki Stairs boundary, which was controlled by Yako-san. Yako-san's Yorishiro got destroyed, so there is no second wonder technically because of that. There's an imbalance, and Hanako said that eventually, after all the Yorishiro are destroyed, he's gonna give it back and distribute it back to everybody, but I'm a little skeptic of that. Then there's their sensei, Tsuchigomori sensei? Sorry, I have a really hard time saying his name. But his sensei is the fifth wonder, right? So far in season 1, we have met the second, the third, and the fifth, seventh wonder. There's a lot more left, so we're probably going to come across them in season 2 and possible season 3. Well, season 2 part 2, which I didn't realize that it was going to come out in, well, July. The first episode's already out. I was actually waiting for season 2 to wrap up so I could make this mega video. I had no idea that they were going to do season 2 part 2. So that's a lovely surprise, but I might make like a follow-up video later. But for now, back to what my ramblings and thoughts. Next question is, what is a Yorishiro, right? Yorishiro is mentioned throughout the series. We have Nene as, Hanako's assistant going and destroying it, peeling off the seals, right, of the sensei's moon rock that Hanako gave him, and then for all the other wonders. But what exactly is a Yorishiro? We are told that it is something that powers the school wonders, but how? Why? Why does it need to be that item that's precious to them? Is it because it ties them down to the human world? Because they are apparitions, right? They're not beings in peace. They haven't like gone to the afterlife. This is like purgatory technically, I feel like. That's how I feel like the realm that these wonders are in is purgatory. They're at a state of unrest. Yeah, in between their human realm and trying to get into the afterlife. And on that note, why does Nene need to be the one to peel him off? Why can't Hanako do it? Is it because he's an apparition? So does a human need to do it? But why Nene specifically? Is she special? What makes Nene so special? She has to be something special, right? Maybe none of these questions that I'm asking matter, but it's fun to ask, right? You can also, at this point, comment down your own questions and, theories you had from season one. Keep in mind, we're trying to stay and stick with what we know in season one. No spoilers from season two and nothing from the manga. Just what we know from season one. So, on that note, I always wondered why, based off season one, do all the school spirits kind of seem scattered? At first, when we learn about Hanako sensei, I thought, oh, everyone from Amane's timeline might be a school wonder. Something must have really happened at that school or at his home life because we know that he killed his brother. Like, what's going on? It must be from that time, from 1969 or around that timeline, right? But things get a little bit complicated when Mitsuba gets turned into a school wonder. So that's when like that theory kind of went down the drain for me. And I was like, wait, why are they all kind of scattered? So anyone can be a school wonder? School wonders seem to have a set of their own rules. Like they don't follow the rules that other apparitions have, and they're all bound to the school. They can't leave. So what's the deal with that? And I thought Mitsuba died off campus. So why is he trapped in the school? And again, why does Nene have to be the one to complete the task? Is she not a regular human? Right? What makes her so different is what I'm trying to figure out, right? What makes her so different? What makes her so special? So let's quickly talk about the relationship between all of the characters, right? I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna just get a little bit more cozy and like lean back. Yeah, so let's talk about some of the characters and their relationships. Romance is brewing between Hanako and Nene, right? With Hanako mainly flirting and teasing her, even giving her a kiss on the cheek, right? As a protective charm in one of the episodes. I think after the Misaki stairs arc, he gives a cheek kiss, which kind of sends the wrong messages to her, like mixed signals to her. It's adorable. I love their dorky little moments, right? Hanako's real name is Amani Yugi. He grants wishes for the living, and he resides in the girls' bathroom last stall. He's a playful apparition that murdered his younger brother with a kitchen knife. He is the seventh wonder of the school. Other than that, he is a total mystery. Nene. She still fantasizes here and there about Minamoto Teru, but after the kiss from Hanako, she finds herself a little flustered, a little scatterbrained, falling for Hanako Kun. Personal space doesn't exist in Hanako's world. He's kind of a little too much. He's clinging on to her. He's all over her, right? So, meh. That really doesn't mean anything to her because he does not have a sense of personal space. Tsukasa also doesn't have a personal sense of space. So, yeah. I also noticed in the camera my hair looks short, but it's just my hair's behind me. But that's really interesting. Sorry. I just kind of got distracted. Hi. Hanako doesn't hesitate to hug Nene when he's feeling jealous or anxious or a little possessive or wants attention, right? So the two of them on a steady course of falling in love. Nene has a mermaid curse. She's Hanako's assistant and a hopeless romantic that gets picked on for her swollen legs, right? She gets called Daikon Senpai, Radish Senpai, like yikes, that's like a big insecurity of hers too. So, and she's trying to solve the mystery surrounding Hanako Kun. Other than that, she's a total dingus. Then there's Ko Minamoto comes from the family of exorcists. His older brother is amazing, beloved by everybody. And he's go-to-lucky and fun, right? He has two classmates that are constantly getting into trouble, Sato and dang it, I forgot the other guy's name. They intentionally don't include those two in the anime, and they don't get a lot of screen time. I think in season 2, part 2, the episode that got released, they finally have like a proper introduction on screen, which is so funny to me because they do get removed from the anime, but they're in the manga. They'll get like a couple panels interacting with Ko, but they're wiped. They're background. They're permanently background in anime. But yeah, Ko at the beginning in season 1 has a crush on Nene, right? And his relationship with Mitsuba starts getting a little bit complicated, right? It seems as if he really cares for this apparition and really forms a strong bond with him. The two of them are really tight. Then there's Minamoto Teru. He seems super sharp. He seems to know what is happening in the school about all the wonders, what's happening in all the boundaries. He seems to be pretty aware of everything having to do with apparitions in the school, which makes sense because he is a pretty strong exorcist. But I don't know why he's holding back from completely eliminating Hanako Kun. Is it because he feels bad for Nene? Because, you know, she's constantly clinging on to him? Or is it because of his little brother? His little brother's fond of Hanako. And of course, Ko does spend a good chunk of his time trying to convince Teru that Hanako isn't all that bad. So maybe he's holding off because of his brother and Nene. In season 1, he's not that involved, but as the anime goes, he's actually more involved in season 2 and the manga. So in season 1, Teru doesn't really have that many scenes, which is fine, but still, you can observe and notice that he's beloved and he's a hard worker. I want to take this opportunity to say that apparently a lot of people don't like Teru, but I actually like him, even after season 2 and in the manga. But back to just sticking with what we know in season 1. Tsukasa in season 1 is shrouded in mystery. We know that Hanako killed him. We don't know why. We still don't know why. But even in season 1, we don't know why. He's super playful. He is like a mirror image of Hanako, but a little bit more sinister. In the Tea Party episodes, after they kidnap Nene, when he talks to Sakura, his eyes are so devoid of life. He seems like it seems like his eyes are the void. And so to me, I wonder, like, is he okay? Like, is like, I don't know, there's just something so evil about him. He seems pretty normal for most part, right? Like, to me, and I'm sorry I'm moving around so much, but to me, he seems like he's perfectly fine. So why does he at times feel like a completely evil energy? And yeah, he's not a school wonder. He's just an apparition. Sakura is a mystery as well. There's not a lot of information about her. She's a part of the broadcasting club. That's all I can say. Other than that, we don't even know her motives for spreading the rumors and helping Tsukasa. Other than that, she has a wish that he is possibly going to try and grant, but we don't know much other than that. So, what's up with Sakura? I'm gonna pause, and I know that I said that we're gonna only talk about what is, give out theories and whatnot in season 1. I don't know if I'll remember this by the time we get to the season 2 part because this is a long recording. I might as well just say it right now. Tsukasa, so Hanako grants wishes for the living. Tsukasa grants wishes for the dead, like Mitsuba. So is Sakura dead? Is she an apparition taking over the body of a normal human student? Or is she trapped, like Mitsuba, posing as a student? Which can't be true because other people can see her. So is she possessing someone's body? Shrouded in mystery, not sure if she is an apparition or not, but she is a student. Natsuhiko, a total moron senpai. No other information in season 1 is available. A student. Tsuchikomori. Tsuchikomori. Yeah, Tsuchikomori sensei. There you go. He's Amani's homeroom teacher when they were alive. He is the 5th wonder, and he was the owner. His boundary was the 4 p.m. library. He's an apparition. and not a wonder anymore because his Yorishiro got destroyed. But yeah, that's all we have on him. Aoi Akane is Nene's friend who always shares ghost stories that somehow always come true. She is kind of shrouded in mystery, not really. She doesn't really get that much screen time, so just a student. One of my favorite scenes of season 1 is actually Akane holding Yamabuki in his arms after they had that practice confession underneath the confession tree in episode 3, and in class they are actually dramatically together. I absolutely love that. It was so funny. I don't know why, but that was funny. Oh, by the way, if you're confused who is who, in this video I will be referring to the girl by her first name, Aoi, and the boy is Akane. Aoi's family name is Akane, so Aoi Akane, and the guy, his name is Akane Aoi, right? His family name is Aoi, but I'm gonna call him Akane, and the girl, Aoi. There you go. So that's how we're gonna do it in this video. Other questions that were brewing in my mind throughout watching this was, what's the deal with Tsukasa? Why did Hanako kill Tsukasa, right? And did he really kill his twin? How did they end up trapped in the school? How did Amane Yugi turn into Hanako, son of the Twilight, right? And how did his twin brother just turn into an apparition, evil apparition that's like causing chaos? How did they end up with in that situation where Hanako grants wishes for the living and Tsukasa grants wishes for the dead? Like, how did they get to that point? What the heck happened, right? And really, is there another entity behind this? What can cause this just based off season 1 information? Here's my bare bone, really lacking spices theory, working theory, horrible theory that I wrote down while I was reading and watching season 1. Yeah, Tsukasa seems to consider Hanako as his rival or arch nemesis. He talks similarly to Hanako and has a mischievous side, but unlike the caring and nurturing side of Hanako, Tsukasa can be violent, lashing out at those around him, unwilling to listen and obey his commands, which hints to me that he might have been kind of a brat when he was alive. I think he was a brat, right? When Nene went back in time and saw Yugi Amane in school crying and beat up and bruises, I wondered if his younger twin was bullying him, or maybe he was like causing some sort of rumor or chaos, destroying his school life, right? Getting his classmates to turn against him. What was it? Was it something of that level? Can't be sure, right? We don't know. So that's what I was thinking at first, was like Tsukasa must have been like bullying his younger brother, Yugi Amane. Amane just kind of snapped one day and just took the kitchen knife and stabbed his younger brother. But I feel like that's way too simple of an explanation, but you know, that's what I had going on. But another theory that I had was maybe Tsukasa could be a personality or side of Amane when he was alive. So when when the sensei said that Amane changed his own future, maybe he found a way to stay in the school forever, unchanging. Maybe Amane did something that resulted in Tsukasa and Hanako, the personalities, to split. And that's just a nothing burger. That's not true. I'm pretty sure they're actual twins. That was like early on when season 1 just started. There was no other information that I had. I was wondering, like, maybe Tsukasa's like a split part of him. So it's all in his mind. I love plot twists, okay? I love plot twists and psychological horror. So I thought that this was going in that direction. But it's a nothing burger. Humor me, you know? The reason why I tossed that theory out is because Tsukasa is way too excited when he sees his older twin brother. Screams out, Amane, Amane, when he sees him, and he's super excited. And that's also why I am really curious as to why does Tsukasa seem to switch. He seems to have two personalities, if I'm being honest. He seems to have a very malicious side to him, but then he also has this really sweet side, loving side, specifically towards his older twin brother. It seems like he cares about no one else but his older twin brother. So really, what the heck happened? Next, school wonders are a mystery, but the broadcasting club room kind of makes sense, right? They alter the rumors that end up amplifying the danger. Destroying their Yorishiro weakens them, but why were they granted that power to begin with? Which makes me really curious about Teru Minato's role. He's a super powerful exorcist, as we know. So, is he overseeing the balance of the school wonders? I mean, then again, Hanako is overseeing that the school wonders don't overstep, right? And that they are keeping things between apparitions and humans balanced. And that's why when the Misaki stares, the rumors kind of go haywire. He goes after Misaki with Nene and destroys the Yorishiro. And really, that leads me to one of my other questions. Why is Hanako the leader of the school spirits? What makes him so powerful is my other question. And why is um Teru hyperfixated on Hanako, exercising Hanako, telling Ko to exercise Hanako, telling Nene to try and stay away from Hanako, but he doesn't kind of pay attention to Tsukasa. It's as if Tsukasa doesn't even exist on his radar. So, does he just not think Tsukasa is worth the trouble? Because he seems like more of a pain in the ass than anything else. Next thing that I was thinking about was the connection between Amane and Nene. So when I saw Nene pick up that key, something in my gut made me wonder if she's the reason Amane was able to change into an apparition. Like, if you've watched Kami-sama Kiss, you know how Nanami and Tomoe are super interconnected, and that every time that Nanami went back in time, the things that she did, the interaction she had with Tomoe, that impacted the future. She didn't realize it, and neither did Tomoe, but Tomoe's lover was always Nanami, right? Like, it was always her. She was super interconnected to his past. He didn't even realize that. She didn't realize that. So, is that same thing happening in Twilight Bound Hanako Kun, that every time Nene is going back in time, interacting with Amane, they're super interconnected? So maybe a big reason why Amane killed Tsukasa is because of Nene, to help Nene. I'm not quite sure. That's just a working theory that I have throughout this video. Like, how interconnected are these two? Time travel and all. Because we know that's a possibility through that. And that opens up a lot of doors of things going to shit. Or turning out fine. Another reason why I think that they're super intertwined and connected to each other, and why she may have a role in why he killed Tsukasa or whatever, is because of her book turning red in the library. As she got closer to learning about Hanako Kun, could the red be a sign of her losing time, maybe as well, right? Because why else would the book start slowly turning red, right? And it says, the rumor is that if your book turns red, you will die, or you're going to die. So is the show trying to hint us that Nene Yashiro doesn't have a lot of time and that she's about to die? Symbolism or foreshadowing? I think foreshadowing. But she's already cursed with the mermaid scale. What could go wrong? But that's all just speculation. So, to solve this mystery and to ask all the bajillion questions that I've asked while giving the summary and in this section, let's venture further and dive into season 2. See you in the next part. Before we get back to the chaos of Twilight Bound Hanako-kun, let me introduce you to the sponsor of this video. If you have a deep love for shoujo and josei content, then you have to check out the Shoujo Sundae podcast. They are the first award-winning shoujo podcast in North America. They cover everything from the classics like Fruits Basket and something more new like A Sign of Affection. And they analyze everything with ice cream puns. It's like a sleepover with your favorite anime sisters. We're talking about symbolism, tropes, storytelling, and the drama. It's not just vibes, it's meaningful vibes. So, if you've ever screamed, "Just kiss already" at your screen, or want to feel seen as a shoujo connoisseur, go listen to Shoujo Sundae. They're everywhere you get your podcasts. Trust me, your hearts will be full and your minds will be fed. Links are going to be in the description box as usual. Now, let's get back to our usual Twilight Bound Hanako Kun programming. Season 2, The 3 Clock Keepers. There's a new rumor floating around Kamome Academy, a rumor of the 3 Clock Keepers. They are the first wonder. Somewhere in the school is a huge old grandfather clock. By moving the clock's hands, you can control the flow of time, moving it forward or backwards. But the clock has 3 keepers acting as its guard. If you mess with the huge clock without their permission, they'll take all the time you have left to live. Nene makes note for the first time in this series that whenever Aoi shares a rumor with her, it comes true. Girl, why didn't you pick up on that by the Misaki stairs or the confession arc? I wonder what's going on with Aoi and if she's connected to the broadcasting station. I really think that she's connected to the broadcasting station. Maybe she's like in on it or something. I don't know. The episode has barely started and I was asking way too many questions for my own good. The clock begins moving time forward throughout the school, starting by aging objects, plants, and classrooms, slowly progressing in aging people. Kids throughout the school are getting old at a ridiculous pace. To solve this mystery, our favorite trio make their way to visit the clock keepers, but quickly realize that none of them know where their boundary is located. Hanako suspects that the clock keeper who disguises themselves as a student is none other than Aoi Akane, making her possibly one of the school wonders. My mind was not ready for that. Here I was connecting her to the broadcasting station club, but anyway, Hanako was making her out to be a school wonder. Hanako possesses Nene's body and begins causing chaos by flirting with Aoi. This ticks off Akane so much that he ends up dragging Nene away from there. He slaps Nene so hard that Hanako's spirit leaves her body, but they end up making a truce with Akane to figure out Aoi's secret. Aoi heads to the auditorium and waits for someone on the stage. Hanako switches his form and launches an attack, successfully drawing out the first wonder. Not Aoi Akane, but Akane Aoi. This dummy here, who has a massive crush on Aoi Akane. He freezes time to prevent a chandelier from hitting Aoi. Well, I wasn't expecting that either, since he was mainly a background character in season 1. On the day of the entrance ceremony, Akane got tricked into forming a contract by the keepers. They had made glass burst in front of Aoi. She would have been badly injured if time didn't come to a halt, as Akane screamed, "Stop!" That's when he became the keeper's assistant slash servant boy like Nene for Hanako. He can stop time, but only 3 times a day for 5 minutes each. The contract expires when he graduates from school. He can't see apparitions when he has his glasses on, which is why he didn't see Hanako hanging around Nene and Co. Akane's got an attitude in his wonder form, sassy and demanding. Not that he isn't like that in his regular form, he just seems to freak out mainly over Aoi-related things. Mirai, the clock keeper of the future, is on the loose. She's the one causing all of this chaos. The trio, plus Akane, need to capture her to put an end to this aging curse. It's not a friendly team-up. Akane hates apparitions. He hates Hanako. He drops some truth bombs with a smile on his face. His writing is really good. A no filter, no bullshit character who likes to call it as it is, you know. And he really hates Hanako. But anyway, Hanako wants Ko to prevent Mirai from touching Nene at all costs. Ko gets a little suspicious, but Hanako tries to play it off. At this point, I was sure it had to do with her time left in this world. Like she must be running out of time or something after she got cursed. Is that why her book was turning red in the library? Now, I could be overthinking it, but maybe I was onto something. The episode continues with the 4 leaving a candy trail to lurk and capture Mirai. She's caught, and in an electric cage that Ko starts up and Akane freezes in place, but she ends up touching Nene with her clock anyway, revealing to us that Nene doesn't have any lifespan left. So what does this mean for Nene? She's got only half a year to live. This isn't because of her contract with Hanako, nor the mermaid scale curse. She was always destined to die. The only reason she was able to even get in contact with Hanako was because she was close to her death date. Only those with spiritual abilities or approaching their death can conjure up Hanako. When the third clock keeper shows up and turns back time, as if that day hadn't even happened, Akane helps out Ko by keeping his presence from being affected by the third's powers. This way, Ko can remember that Nene is running out of time. Ko is pissed off that Hanako isn't trying to save Nene and promises to find a way to prevent her death. A noble cause. Everything goes back to normal, and Nene carries on day by day, unaware of her short time in that world. Ko puts 100% of his effort into changing Nene's future. Next up, an update on romance. Nene kisses Hanako on the cheek in episode 3, leaving the ghost flustered. Nene notices a sulky Ko and hopes to be able to cheer him up. She brings up the idea of going to the Summer Light Festival. Unfortunately, Hanako, who seems interested, won't be able to attend. Remember, he is bound to the school, so he offers up an alternative to meet by the Misaki Stairs on July 7th so that they can enter the boundary and attend the Tanabata Star Festival, a fun festival that mirrors the living world. The apparitions love to have some summer fun festival too. The trio have a blast at the festival as they make their way through the crowd to see the festival fireworks. Nene gets hit by a cow. This girl has the worst luck, I swear, blasting her into a completely different timeline. A timeline where she bumps into Kid Amane. It's July 7th, 1964. Nene had been collecting colored strips of paper, and the only color she was missing was red. Kid Amane happened to only have a red strip of paper that Nene begs him for. She needs it to be able to wish herself back to her own timeline. Otherwise, she's stuck in 1964. Kid Amane hands his red paper willingly. He finds Nene adorable after a cute interaction between the two. He appreciates her keeping him company at the festival since his younger brother went off on his own. He gets super excited about the fireworks. It's adorable and sad knowing how things turn out for him. Nene ends up handing all of her papers to him and asking him to use it to make his wishes come true. Then she rushes into a guy dressed up as a cow, hoping to get flung back to her own timeline. And it surprisingly works. Yashiro, Nene, and Ko go to the school next day to find that both Mitsuba and Hanako are not only humans, but they're classmates as well. What in the world is going on? Is it the work of the fourth wonder that Tsukasa had introduced to Mitsuba? The interactions Ko and Nene have with Mitsuba and Hanako is bittersweet. They get to experience life alongside the two just as humans, not apparition shenanigans involved. I found myself smiling a lot, seeing Amane be surrounded by friends, smiling, laughing, not covered in bruises. Just needed a slice of serotonin and I got it. But all good things must come to an end. The two meet Shijima Mei, the wonder who made this possible. Ko and Nene ask for her to switch things back to normal, to give them back their dumb, rude, little crazy apparitions back. She will, but on one condition. Kill the main characters of this world, Mitsuba and Hanako, and they'll return back to their current reality. But if not, they will stay here in this fictional world and forget all about their previous life. Mitsuba in this fake world is actually the real Mitsuba. His wish was granted by the fourth wonder. Ko and Nene try and figure out another way of breaking free from that fake world without killing anyone. Nene comes close to figuring out a way out of that world, a door that leads to the real world. But before a suspicious looking paintbrush can help them lead to the door that can help them exit this strange boundary, Amane breaks the brush in half, using his abilities to make Nene unconscious before transporting her back to the school. It's actually Hanako cosplaying as a human. Hanako has Nene in his arms as he's walking back to school. Ko feels relieved to figure out that it was just Hanako all along and asks him to bust him out of there. But to his surprise, Hanako is unwilling. This fake world might be Nene's best shot at living forever, and he doesn't want her to return back to the real world where she would die in a few months. He takes Nene and disappears. Unbeknownst to him, Nene was secretly awake the entire time, eavesdropping onto the conversation, shocked by the news of her own death looming over her. She confronts Hanako over this, frustrated that he is making all these decisions without her input. He leaves her in a cell room, letting her know that he'll pick her up after the world has been completed by the fourth wonder. But things don't turn out that way when Mei goes to visit Nene and she uses a palette knife to threaten Mei's life. She's mainly pissed off at Hanako. Mei fills her in on some details of her limited lifespan. When Tsukasa shows up and poofs Mei and Nene off to a hospital to make Mei's wishes come true, she wants to kill off her living self. Not sure how that works because Shijima Mei is already dead, but whatever. There's a lot that goes on between the Wonder Shijima and the living Shijima, but it gets settled. The living Mei climbs upstairs, returning to her reality. Nene and the fourth wonder are transported back to the cell room where they were at. The half-broken paintbrush makes its way to them. They fix it up and it leads them to Nene. The paintbrush was a copy of Mei Shijima, a part of her that didn't like her own boundary. In the end, Mei agrees to show them the emergency exit door, but Hanako stands in their way. He does his best to discourage Nene from returning, but eventually she's able to convince him to let them return back. Once back in the real world, Mei hands over her Yorishiro to Nene to break, and things seem to go back to normal. Questions brewing in my mind, and theories. Welcome back. You've made it to another section where we can finally discuss, unwrap things, and honestly, season 2 was just more fun. It was just more of them connecting and us getting a sweet treat with that picture perfect arc of getting to see how Mitsuba and Hanako would have fit in with everyone else if they were alive, with the gang. Yeah, it was sweet. It made me smile. I mean, I'm still smiling right now, like an idiot. Season 2 answered some questions, but left me conflicted by some of the discoveries, right? Okay, so Akane is a wonder, fine, right? But that doesn't mean that my theory of Aoi being in the broadcasting club can't be true. So is she in that club? Or is she connected to this in some other way? Why is it that whenever she says a certain rumor, it comes true? I know the broadcasting station is spreading the rumors, but whenever she tells whatever version she tells, Nene, that one is the most accurate one, right? Because the school has other students reiterating the rumors, but they all have different versions. But Aoi's version is always accurate. So is she special? So let's get into the relationship so far. We'll start with Akane and Teru. Sure. You know, it's a love-hate relationship. They always banter. Teru's always antagonizing Akane, and Akane is simply at Teru's mercy since he is a school wonder. And I also wonder, um, does Teru have a thing for Akane maybe? Is he jealous of Akane and Aoi? That's just me making up shit. No, I don't know why he loves torturing Akane so much. Then there's Ko and Mitsuba, who are much closer to each other than ever before, right? And I love to see their banter, their interactions, especially when Mitsuba gets to live out as being a regular human and being their classmate, hanging out with Ko in the picture perfect arc. It was beautiful. And, you know, Mitsuba is kind of like, I didn't say this in season 1, but Mitsuba is like Ko's dead boyfriend. So, yeah. Nene and Hanako are just floating by, right? But their biggest hurdle has been Hanako making decisions regarding Yashiro's lifespan without consulting with her. And, you know, he did behave in a way that his friends didn't even recognize. So, to answer the question that I asked regarding School Wonders in season 1, I got the answer for it. All right, number 1 is for School Wonders. 1 is the Clock Keepers. And so far, the character that we care the most about it is Akane Aoi, right? Big plot twist. Big, like, dang, dude, I thought you were some background character in season 1. You're some hotshot? Okay. Well, technically, he's the lowest ranking trash clock keeper because he is the clock keeper of the present, but I still think he's pretty much a big deal. That is a pretty big deal to control time. And number 2 was the Misaki Stairs, who is controlled or was controlled by the spirit known as Yako-san. The third wonder is the Hell of Mirrors, Mitsuba. Fourth wonder is the art room of Shijima-san, controlled by Mei Shijima. 5 is the 4 p.m. book stacks controlled by Tsuchikumori sensei. 6 is unknown right now. 7 is Hanako Kun. So there's only one more, you know, school wonder to learn about, and then we'll have all 7 of them. We know now for a fact that Nene is losing life. Like, her lifespan is so much shorter. She is running out of time. So, yay! Plus points for me for kind of thinking that her book turning red was maybe symbolic or foreshadowing of her losing time. So, proud of that. Like, when that was revealed in the anime when I was watching season 2, I was like, I'm so proud of myself. I actually had not read the manga at all. So this, when I did start reading, was like my first time reading the manga. Hello, Momo. There's a cat here. Do you guys want to see the cat? Look at the camera. Say hi. Say hi. Oh, she don't care. She don't want to say hi. She wanted to cuddle. My bad. So I wrote down here that somehow she finds herself time traveling and interacting with younger Amane over and over in season 1 and 2. This brings the importance of time traveling, time paradox, and butterfly effect. From here on, we know for a fact that everything and everyone is interconnected with the Yugi twins, which is true because they really are interconnected. And holy shit, I had a feeling that this was reminiscent of Kamisama Kiss. Only the time traveling aspect of like Nene and Amane Yugi being interconnected with each other, right? But that's it. It's not like, I'm not saying they're ripping off Kamisama Kiss or anything like that. I'm just saying I'm so glad that I theorized correctly. I went with my gut feeling. Thank you guys. I'll take another point. That's great. That's probably my last point. Everything else is probably bullshit on my end. But yeah, the existence of clock keepers and Akane's presence adds a new level of depth that I wasn't anticipating. Like I said, Akane was a background character. Akane had that funny scene under the confession tree, or after the confession tree, he visited the confession tree in the classroom. Him and Yamabuki have that really funny scene. Like, he was just a background character. I legitimately did not anticipate him just coming on the forefront, like being in the forefront is what I meant. And just having so much screen time. Holy crap. He has so much screen time in the manga too, but bam, I was not anticipating that. There's a lot of characters in Toilet Bound Hanako Kun. There's the main trio, but then there's other people that become really popular and important in the show as well. He'll be heavily involved in uncovering the mystery surrounding the twins. How deeply are these friends connected with the Yuki twins? Just based off season 2, I theorize that Akane will have to team up with Nene at some point. And they will have to go back in time, meet up with Kid Yugi Amane and Kid Yugi Tsukasa. And they will either stop Amane from killing Tsukasa or aid him in killing Tsukasa. Like, something might happen. Because time travel is involved, I think Tsukasa dying has to be like a time paradox they can't fuck with. Because I think if that gets messed with, then maybe the timeline separates, or something's gonna go to shit. I just feel like now that time travel is involved, it's gonna get a little bit more complicated. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. I wrote down a note. Season 1 added more information about how the school wonders and how living humans like Akane can be tricked into becoming a school wonder, which is so interesting. And it seems like it makes sense for a human to be tricked into being the school wonder of the present, like the clock keeper of the present, because they need somebody who is in the now, right? Because if an apparition's dead, they're kind of stuck. So I think that's pretty interesting and cool. I don't have a lot of theories for season 2. Just questions like, who is the sixth wonder, and are they dangerous? What's their boundary like? What's their Yoshiro or Yorishiro? Sorry, and what do they look like? I'm curious. I don't have a lot of theories, like I said. Season 2 was like a feel-good season. 1, we learn there's like a big plot twist and discovery about Amane. Not Amane, sorry. Akane. And it's just feel good. Shijima Mei's painting where Hanako and Mitsuba get to be human, play pretend. It was just, it was fun. Share any theories you had for season two, any questions you had when you watched season two, anything that was running in your mind, any questions you have, and see you in the next part.